Hey everyone, have you ever wondered about your parenting style? Well, your parenting style is simply the way you parent, or more specifically, the way you raise and guide your children. And according to psychologists, there are four main types of parenting styles. So let's take a look at each one and see how it affects your kids. Number one, authoritative. If you're an authoritative parent, you're warm and supportive while still setting clear rules and expressing your expectations. You encourage your children to be independent and responsible, and you give them the freedom to make their own decisions while also teaching them the reasoning behind rules. When you say no, there's a why attached to it. For example, we can't go to the candy store now because it's time to go home. You foster open communication with your kids and you listen to their thoughts and feelings, but at the same time, you know when to draw the line. You're firm in your expectations and you don't tolerate bad behavior, but you explain the reasons for the consequences, and this helps your kids understand the connection between their actions and the results they get. As a result, your children develop a strong sense of self confidence and self esteem. They become competent, responsible, and respectful individuals who excel in school and are well liked by their peers. Number two, authoritarian. On the other hand, if you're an authoritarian parent, you are strict and controlling and you demand obedience from your children without explaining the reasoning behind your rules. You set strict rules and you expect your kids to follow them without question. For example, clean your room now. I said, clean your room. You believe that children should be seen and not heard, and as a result, you often resort to punishment to enforce obedience rather than focusing on teaching your children why certain behaviors are unacceptable. In fact, you show little to no responsiveness to your child's emotional needs. You value obedience and conformity over creativity and independence. You may use phrases like, because I said so, or stop playing, and go clean your room with little to no explanation. If your child questions your rules or tries to negotiate, you might respond with anger or frustration. As a result, your children become obedient and may excel in certain areas, such as academics. However, they often lack confidence and struggle with decision making. They may also have difficulty asserting themselves and may become anxious or depressed. Number three, permissive. At the other end of the spectrum, we have the permissive parenting style. If you're a permissive parent, you are loving and kind, and you may be more like a friend to your children than a parent. You want your kids to be happy and you avoid conflict by giving them everything they want. You set few rules or boundaries and you rarely enforce the ones you do set. For example, you might allow your kids to stay out past curfew because you don't want to disappoint them. You believe that children learn best through exploration and you avoid being a strict disciplinarian. Instead, you focus on being a positive role model and you try to guide your children in the right direction through encouragement rather than punishment. This approach makes your children feel loved and secure. They know that you won't punish them for making mistakes or engaging in risky behavior. As a result, your children develop a strong sense of self esteem and they feel capable of making good decisions. However, they may struggle with self control and have difficulty resisting temptations. They may also struggle with delayed gratification and prioritizing immediate pleasure over long term goals. And finally, number four, neglectful or uninvolved. Finally, some parents follow a neglectful or uninvolved parenting style. If you're a neglectful parent, you provide little guidance or support to your children and you may struggle to connect with them on an emotional level. You are more focused on your own needs and you may view your role as primarily to provide food and shelter rather than to nurture and guide your children. For example, you may leave the discipline up to the school system or other authority figures and you may not attend school events or activities. You may also struggle to show affection towards your children and you may not be responsive to their emotional needs. As a result, your children may feel ignored and struggle with trust and forming close relationships. They may also lack self confidence and have difficulty regulating their emotions. Now, before we move on, please take a moment to like this video and share it with your friends. Now, back to the video wrap up. Now, remember, no parenting style is perfect. Each has its pros and cons, and all parents make mistakes. However, research does show that the authoritative style tends to support the healthiest development across various aspects of a child's life. It fosters independence, self confidence, self esteem, academic achievement, social skills, and mental health. Of course, every child is unique, and what works for one may not work for another. Some children may need a stricter approach while others may need more freedom. However, in general, the authoritative style tends to yield the best outcomes. In the end, it's important to find a balance between being too strict and too lenient. Being a good parent isn't about being perfect, it is about trying your best and being willing to adjust your approach as your children grow and change. So, did this video help you better understand your parenting style? What are your thoughts on the authoritative style? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. And if you're interested in learning more about this topic, we highly recommend checking out the following resources. First, if you want a deeper understanding of the authoritative parenting style, check out the book How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and 19 Other Powerful Tools for Raising Respectful, Responsible Children by Adele Faber and Elaine Maslish. The authors provide practical advice and techniques for implementing the authoritative style. Next, if you want to learn more about the effects of parenting styles on children's development, check out the article Parenting Styles on the American Psychological Association website. The article provides a comprehensive overview of the research on parenting styles and their impact on children. Finally, if you want to explore your parenting style in more detail, consider taking a quiz or assessment. One option is the What's Your Parenting Style quiz on the AHA Parenting website. The quiz is based on the work of Dr. Laura Markham and other experts in the field of parenting. Remember, understanding your parenting style is just the first step. The real work begins when you put this knowledge into practice, so we encourage you to continue learning and growing as a parent. With patience and persistence, you can create a nurturing and supportive environment that helps your children thrive.